Camera's in charge of everybody.
Exactly.
That's what I was trying to do.
Everyone behind the flags, perfect.
There you go, come on. That's man, that's right, we're the only ones dressed like adults.
We're missing Leslie.
Well, we need,
This is it.
This is it.
Yep, this is
that's
the
all you
commission.
got?
Yep.
How do we look?
Great. All of you. Go ahead.
All right, we're looking good. All right, right hands up. I state your name.
Brandon Trennan, state your name.
Let's try that for the second time around, just for the, okay, I
I,
So I,
Brandon Trennan.
solemnly swear
Solemnly swear
to do my duty
to
to do my duty
and to follow the Constitution
and to follow the Constitution
and to be members of the Growth Commission,
and
and to be members of the Growth Commission,
to be good eggs,
to be
to get along together,
to get
and
along
to
together,
give sound advice to Kevin Patrick.
and give sound advice to Kevin Patrick.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Oh, great.
Congratulations. 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 And it was that simple.
This is gonna be an interesting bunch.
Back up.
Oh, we gotta get the flags out of the way.
Yes.
You get that one? Okay, this one.
The flags out of the way. Okay, come here, Kevin.
is there an empty chair here? Someone sitting there?
No, no one's sitting here. I can sit here, I suppose.
Okay.
Someone can. I can move over.
I will move down as well.
I'll slide down so I don't look antisocial.
There we go. Okay. Better.
Okay, we're all set. Set. Okay. I'd like to read the roll call before we get started here. Matthew Weiss, that's me, I'm the chair. Brandon Schreiner,
Here?
Al Stosh,
Here.
Melissa White,
here,
Brian Wong.
Here.
All right. We are calling the, oh, yes. And
Sabri.
a board liaison, yes, I was going to say. And staff liaison. Chief Stapleton and Holly Sabri, that's right. Wanted to make sure I got your last name right. Okay, we're all set. Good. Great. I'm going to call to order the first meeting of the Villa Park Growth Commission. Thank you so much for coming, everyone, and joining us. We are going to, first point of business is to appoint a note taker or timekeeper. We do have to take notes at these things in minutes, very important. So I will ask for volunteers from the commission for right now to take notes or meeting minutes. Do we have any volunteers? Otherwise, I'm gonna have to do it. And I can do it because I have a laptop.
I will volunteer.
Okay. Al is volunteering.
May I suggest for the future, getting that AI software that does it for you?
Commissioner Wong recommends AI software. We will see if that flies. Perfect. Okay, so Al's going to be the note taker. Thank you, Commissioner Stosh. Next, we are going to any public comment on the agenda items. Seeing no public, we're going to move on from that. And then we're going to move to public comment on non-agenda items. And again, seeing no public, we're going to move on from that. So on the next on the agenda is a statement by me around the scope of the commission and the relevancy for the village's comprehensive plan. I have to say I'm extremely excited for this commission as the chair. Thank you, President Patrick, for this. I really appreciate the opportunity. I know we all do. I've talked with the other commissioners about it. We take this very seriously. And I think ensuring the growth of Villa Park is a really important part of this commission, but also supporting the comprehensive plan that the village has put together. Economic development and workforce development are two of my passions. They are my background. They are my professional background. So I'm very excited to be leading this commission, but to be surrounded by all of you, local business owners and otherwise, to really talk about how we can bring Villa Park into the future together. I did want to have a brief discussion in the next agenda item about the commission's size and the potential to add additional members down the road. So I wanted to open that up for discussion. If you have a comment, please let me know, and I will recognize you. Yeah.
I wanted to comment about the document that pretty much started our discussion, and that is the comprehensive plan. Yeah, I think that this commission will interact with much of this comprehensive plan. The term growth can go in a lot of different directions, but in order for us to meet our objective of implementing a lot of the growth characteristics in this plan, it's a tall task.
Yeah.
Okay? And rather than a group all attacking individual components of the comprehensive plan together, it may be more appropriate for individuals to go off into certain aspects of the plan as we work through it. And I don't think we have, in this case, enough to do that. So I would entertain adding more people to this commission.
Okay.
I would like to comment that I do agree, we most definitely would need more people to be able to do stuff, but I think as a brand-new commission, and looking at everything, that maybe it's better for us to remain small until we need to actually look. Once we have a roadmap or a plan and know exactly which direction we are, it's much easier to accomplish that with a smaller group and get us all acclimated to everything, instead of enlarging it right away and having several other people come in and make their own suggestions at the same time. I am assuming we are allowed to do this at any point in time. Mm-hmm. So that would just be my thoughts.
Mm-hmm. I do think there's something to be said for staying nimble in the short term, and staying smaller until we're able to flush things out a little bit more and get some strategic goals outlined, and get some actionable goals outlined. I think we can revisit this at the next meeting or the upcoming meetings as well, and add commissioners at that point.
I do have a question.
Sure.
What is our specific mission statement, and what authority do we have to enact on that?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good question. What was shared with me regarding the overview and purpose, and I can read this, or I can share it with you. I can do both, actually, after the meeting, if you'd like. But the overview and purpose of the commission, it says, the Villa Park Growth Commission is responsible for attracting economic development and promoting the village as a vibrant, thriving community. The commission works to identify opportunities for business growth, both by supporting existing businesses and recruiting new ones. It serves as an advisory body to the village board, making recommendations on policies and strategies that foster sustainable economic development and increase the village's visibility to potential investors, developers, and residents. And then it goes on to say the commission will focus on creating partnerships, advocating for public-private initiatives, developing marketing efforts to showcase Villa Park's strengths and potential. Planning Commission addresses long-term development zoning policies. The Growth Commission actively works at implementing strategies for business retention, recruitment, and promotion.
A lot of what you said is under the auspices of the Economic Development Department
Yep.
in the village. How are we to interact with that department?
Yeah. So,
Maybe we can address that with the staff and board liaisons.
that was going to be my recommendation, is we talk to the board liaison and the staff liaison and really develop a plan, but also directions on how we would interface with economic development within the village. I agree. This is something that we can't do in a box just as a commission. And it's our job, I think, to kind of view the landscape, view the comprehensive plan, and then make recommendations, vice versa, to the village and the board. So, yes, I 100% agree with you. So we will bring that up and follow up with the village, or with the commission liaison and the board liaison. Cool.
Okay.
All right. Great. Do we have any other comments on this before we move on to the next agenda item? Okay, so Tom.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think it makes sense to, I think, long-term, incorporate more input and have more people on the commission.
Sure.
Also, since it's a brand-new commission and we're all just getting started, I think it does make sense to establish some processes and kind of get familiar with the protocol before we start incorporating more new people.
Yep. Okay, great. Any other comments? Seeing none, we will move on. Our next agenda item is any new business. I did hear from Commissioner White that one of the areas of new business that she would like to talk about, and frankly, I would also like to speak about just briefly, is doing business with the village and ensuring that we have business-friendly policies and practices and making it easy to fulfill the purpose and the purpose statement that was outlined here in the commission kind of doctrine. So I wanted to know if you wanted to speak a little bit more about that from your experience, or?
I would actually like to be able to speak to businesses within Villa Park, but also several businesses outside. And I've been hearing from several people all over the place that they don't want to do business with Villa Park, but I don't know why. They'll just say, stay away from Villa Park. I just had someone actually tell me the other day that her realtor, when she was looking for a house, said, you don't want to go to Villa Park, and did not show her houses in Villa Park.
Wow.
Yes, but I don't know why. Like, no one actually explained why. So I would like to actually talk to contractors and builders and developers and business owners and find out why are they saying stay away from Villa Park? Because I do not know if it's one specific thing, several, or if it's just because at some point they heard it's tough to work with, and now that's just what we're known for. And I think that would really need to be addressed or looked at, because you're not going to be able to get new businesses and have a growth if you have that type of.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. I've also heard that feedback, and I think that it's something that we definitely need to address. And I know that I'm sure that the village board is very interested in, as they're looking to further the growth of the village and further this comprehensive plan. That's going to be a really critical aspect of that. Moving forward is having business-friendly policies. We cannot, economic development can't do this alone. We need to ensure that the surrounding, infrastructure that's in place is going to work in everyone's favor. So, yeah, I hear you. Yeah.
I'd just like to comment on that, and I too have heard those comments, but yet I see significant businesses coming to Villa Park. Rose Excavating, for example, Rose Paving, thank you. The largest paving company in the United States came to Villa Park, and they built their facility and so on. So I think we need, when we talk about comments from individuals, we need to be specific. Are they commenting because they didn't like the conditions that they had to meet in order to be a business in Villa Park? Or is it because they were treated poorly? So I don't want to ride on top of the village and say, well, we just don't like to do business with new companies coming in, because that's not true.
Yep.
We need to understand what are the real factors in the complaints. So not to just tally how many complaints we get, but why did they complain? Did they complain because they didn't like the ordinance that they had to address? And I've heard that from businesses that I've talked to that say, well, I didn't like having to do that. Well, that's the ordinance in the village. I'm sorry. You just have to address that and make that powerful. But I do agree that there has been many comments like that. I'd like to know the truth, why. Not just, well, I didn't like it. That's not enough. We need to be specific,
Yep.
okay?
Thank you. Yeah, I completely agree with that. I think rumor is one thing, but fact is another. And so digging into this is going to be critical.
Yes.
And yeah.
Actually, what we're going up against as well is the image that Villa Park has as a lower income class area, which is crazy when you look at the fact that the average house in this area is significantly more than you would find in Schaumburg or Hoffman Estates, for example. And the median average income in Villa Park is $10,000 more than the average of the state of the county for DuPage. The problem is we're right next to Elmhurst, where the median income household is $145,000. We've had that issue with my business where There are people that won't come to us initially because they think they don't want to go to Villa Park until they get into the, basically, that's one of the issues we've seen, that is the whole Villa Park image.
Thank you. Okay. Yeah, I think, as we look at the comprehensive plan, I see a lot of bright spots in this for how we can address that. And to your point, I do believe it's a misconception. I mean, granted, we all live here, right? And have businesses here. But I agree with you that it is and has been viewed that way historically. That said, I think that there are some pretty concrete things that we can get to working through this plan that are going to help to address that. One of which, I know it's called out here, is some of the economic development zones and frankly, the downtown area just generally. And so I know that needs to be a focus. Looking at the plan again and reviewing it recently, I also looked at some of the recommendations that the consultant put together around kind of maximizing business development on corridors and around very busy corridors and areas into the village. And I think that is, we've seen some of those villages that you mentioned make serious investments and community investments in those areas, and that's something that we also need to be doing. Are there any other comments on this topic? I think this is a really important point because it's exactly why we're here. And so talking about this is really critical. Yeah, Al.
I just want to reiterate something that you mentioned before, that we would have pretty much specific goals in order to address, are we being successful as a commission or not?
Yep.
So I just want to emphasize that, when I was dealing with having to meet objectives on a daily basis, that was my focus.
Yep.
And that's where you get success. You don't get, well, I think we did a good job, or it was nice what we did, or didn't it look pretty? It's about numbers, to be honest with you. And if we're talking about growth, the first thing that comes to mind is increasing the tax base. Are we going to look at that as a goal? Are we going to look at the number of businesses and the quality of the businesses, or the retention of businesses, which is a very vague thing to do?
Yes, it is.
But, that's my hope, is that this commission is quantitatively addressing our objectives.
Thank you. Any other comments on this topic?
Does anyone know what's going on with my old home over on Ardmore, where aliens pretending to be contractors came and blasted a 6-block radius of Villa Park and went back to Mars, telling them about their conquest against the Earth?
Oh, so I've not heard about aliens landing here.
Well, according to the records, they were contractors that apparently ran out of funds.
Okay.
But do we have any word on what's going on with that? And at this point,
I don't. I imagine that we can make an inquiry to the village staff, though, and figure out what's happening in some of the areas.
the interesting thing that I always noted, that technically is the pit area of Villa Park, yet we were, I mean, that, you know, for an area that was surrounded by Section 8, granted, my family has probably over two dozen or more properties in Gary, Indiana, and those areas. For a Section 8 area, that is a very safe and comfortable area. That is the lowest income area in Villa Park that I'm aware of, yet everyone felt safe walking around at night in that area. There's very few other cities. I don't know if you guys realize that, because I pretty much, I mean, I was in my business 24/7 almost, so I saw it day and night. I saw the kids running around, and I had my whole bunch of kids that we used to feed candy to keep an eye on things for us. We never had any problems with major crime or anything else like that. It's, for us, we felt very safe in that area. That's something that people don't think about for Villa Park. Mm-hmm. Overall, Villa Park is a much safer area. The biggest issue we have that I see is there is a subconscious image that Villa Park has as a whole. The only thing they know about Villa Park was the old commercials from 20 years ago with the jewelry exchange. That's literally the only thing they know.
So I do, oh, Brandon, go ahead.
I was going to say, overcoming a perception can be a challenge, and I think it's based on maybe things that have happened or a kind of reality that existed years and years ago. I do think that perception is changing. I think that the advancement of certain businesses that have come up in Villa Park in the last 5 or 10 years have really made large steps to help begin to change that perception. I don't think it's fully become, I'll call it common knowledge, that Villa Park is a really great up-and-coming place, a great place to raise a family, a great place to start a business. There is so much potential and opportunity in Villa Park for really great things to happen, and I think it's worth, if we hear people who are bad-mouthing it or saying that it's not a great place to start a business, I think we, going back to what you said earlier, I think we should investigate as to why. I think we should try to figure out the root cause of those ideas within those people, and we should stand up for Villa Park. We should try to snuff that out when we hear it, because it's not true. I think it's outdated information, and it is changing. I think there are a lot of businesses that have come into Villa Park in the last 10 years that have done a lot to change that perception, and I think as we continue here, we can help to abolish that.
Al?
And one of the reasons why I wanted to join this commission was because of the type of capabilities that I can bring to this group, which is to create media to promote the village. I know we have a public information officer, and they do their job very well. They do a lot of the social media sites and things like that. But there's a lot of things to promote in this village that we don't hear about, especially from a government entity that can't really be promoting businesses. But we have the capability of doing that, in my opinion. And there's a couple of ways to do that. One of them is a new magazine that I've incorporated one of our commission members into, the Villa Park Magazine, and others are videos. There are 700 videos on YouTube about the village of Villa Park. 700, okay? And they're old because they go back 10, 12 years. We need to be doing more of that, and promoting the village as truthfully as we can to be a great place to live and a great place to start businesses, because one of our commissioners has a great business on Villa Avenue in the heart of our village.
Yep.
And a relative with another business, also a great business, on the North Avenue corridor.
Yep.
So there's a lot of good things,
There are.
and we need to show people that that's true. And I'm offering to have our group do that.
Yep. I agree with you. Yeah.
I think with some of the new commissions that are also around too, that I think it would be beneficial if we could speak with them too.
Yeah.
Like some of the things, when you talk about a perception of whether or not Villa Park is low income or not, sometimes it's when you look around, you see all these empty buildings that are very run down, or you see sidewalks that look like no one's taking care of them. And, some other things like that, which is kind of more beautifying the village.
Yeah.
And I know that there's a commission that works with that, but in order for us to be able to do our marketing pieces, we have to make sure that we show that this isn't what's going on anymore.
Yeah.
So it's, one of the things, because that's why people look
Yeah.
at, when they really think whether or not, I don't know how much they really look at Section 8 or how much they look and say, ooh, look at that place. That, it's not being kept up, it's not loved, it's, no one cares about it. And I think that's where a lot of the perception really goes down on.
Yep. Yeah, I also think there's economic development levers that we have to pull, right? So if we're looking to promote an image, and we're talking about facilitating the type of business and economic growth that I think we all want, we need to know what's available to us and where the current efforts are. And I think, Brian, to your point, it would be good to have updates on some of the parcels of land that are available, some of the ongoing redevelopment efforts of specific areas. I'm also really big into, maybe looking at state and other grants that we should be writing to help to spur economic development. There's a lot of resources out there. My organization gets a lot of federal funding. That's what we do, and we write a lot of grants. I know that they're out there. I know it's available. I think we just have to ensure that the village is targeting the specific ones and has the capacity to write those and to be competitive in our asks. The other thing is, frankly, just leveraging other elected officials, the state legislature, looking for even federal carve-outs when they're available. I think that these are all things that we need to consider because they can help. You know, I take the Metro a lot, and I can tell you that one of the big issues that I've always had is we don't have an underpass. We don't have a way to get across the tracks when the train is coming, if you live on the south side of Villa Park, or if you live on the north side of Villa Park. It doesn't really matter. And that's not only just a safety issue, but it's a problem with, I think, helping to show that the village has the infrastructure and that it's willing to adapt to bring in new business. And so I think these are things that we all need to address, but I'm specifically looking at the types of economic development levers, other tools, and things that we can have at our disposal as a commission, or at least recommend to the village board that they need to make investments in or target.
I have one last thing, and then I'll shut up for the moment. Because I've been thinking about what can be done for this area that is within our reach that we can get to sooner than later. Because obviously anything like Ardmore, the location on Ardmore and places like that, that's going to take a lot of figuring out over time, and I'm sure President Patrick is working on that heavily. One thing that would be very effective is leaning in towards where he's going with his radio station. However, I disagree with printed material right now, because printed material, unless it's a flyer, people don't seem to read. I've spent a lot of money on Villa Park newspaper and have never seen any response from that. What I was looking at is like an image campaign where we find or create our own influencer teams, whether I have access to comedy teams or actors or actresses, or we find an influencer that wants to show off Villa Park and have a current, because when he's talking about 700 videos, my question is, how many of those videos have more than 3 views?
All of them.
Well, do they have like millions of views? And that's the issue, is they're not trending. Right now, things that we need, people don't realize. We have a trail that's drop dead gorgeous that as the city continues to put a little more and more money into it, even right now, without putting anything into it, it's a gorgeous trail that people don't realize runs right through the heart of Villa Park. We've got a rec center that a fortune was just spent on that is sitting empty all the time. Every time I've walked in there, it's barely being used. The utilization is way down. There's this gorgeous park, Heritage Park. They had a big festival when they first launched it. People don't realize, there are 18 parks in Villa Park. And you can go fishing in some of them. These are things that people don't know about the city they live in, or people in the surrounding area may not know. These are things that, this is the kind of information that we want out there. The key is we have to deliver it in a way people will respond to it.
Mm-hmm.
But, and I'm done for that.
sorry.
It's all yours. I'm like,
Waiting for the next
oh,
one.
yes, yours.
The other way to be able to get people to realize what Villa Park's like is events. And Villa Park does not seem to have the events that have a wide reach. If you look at some of the neighboring towns, the amount of events that they had, and they were really, really small and kept with it and grew it, and now they are huge. And tons of businesses came into the area because of the events, because more people from outside the city or outside their location came in. And that's where they started really exploding. So not that that's something that we're going to be doing, but I know that there's other commissions that are looking at doing that. So if we look at helping or seeing, especially if we're going to be doing any type of marketing or going back with your influencers, if there's not an event or something else to bring them in, it's tough to accomplish that.
Yep.
On the topic of events, I think that there have been some really great events. Music in the Park, I think, is a really successful event.
It is.
I've attended a few of those, and really great turnout. I was very impressed with that.
growing.
I thought that's been a really successful event. So maybe looking at what works, what good looks like, using that as maybe a template, and seeing how we can make that happen at different seasons. I know that More Brewing does craft fair events, and they've, this is a private company that has held its own events and that has drawn people from neighboring communities and brought people out within town. Gets people on the streets and exposes some of the fun parts of Villa Park too. So I think, private businesses can be part of that as well. And partnering up and it helps everybody, I guess. When we raise each other up, we all benefit from it. So I don't know. I think events are a really great focus point.
Any other comments on this topic at all?
Just try to remember on running events, we don't want it initially to be labeled as Villa Park. Example, one of the biggest events in the region was Eyes to the Skies. Everyone heard about it. No one realized it was in Lisle, but that's the name itself built its own brand. So if you build an event, you want an event that you can brand, where the event name draws people, and then it brings them to Villa Park.
Yep. Okay. I really appreciate the robust discussion on this. This is exactly why we're here, to work as a group. And I'm excited to have a lot of these different items. I've taken copious notes. So we've got.
I'm sorry.
Sorry. I want to make sure that we've got everything for future agendas and other things that we're going to be talking about, and that because I do think we've set a pretty comprehensive table tonight, and so I do really appreciate the discussion. With that, we are up for adjournment. Unless we have any closing comments here. Great.
Motion, we adjourn.
Thank you. Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. We are adjourned as of 6:34 PM.